Recently I made a video completing the Taranish raid, and a lot of people in the comments asked me why my Merlin was doing so much damage, what the proper rotations are, and how to complete the raid in general. And since I see that a lot of people have misunderstandings about Merlin's kit and what characters are needed and not, I'm gonna do this video where I show all the rotations and explain her cold kit. No lightning, no fire, I will leave those for a future date. In this video I will explain Merlin's cold kit, her rotation, and show it to you. I will also show you my full build so you can replicate it if you want to. Start with the characters and the build. Obviously, the character that you want is Merlin. That's the only character that is 100% needed, since this is a Merlin video, right? And obviously, since Merlin is the character that is needed for this team, if you guys want to pull for her and you haven't yet, let me introduce you to the sponsor of this video, where you can find some cheap prices for topping up. Eldorado.gg is an online marketplace where you can get a diversity of products, including currency for your favorite games like Roblox, Minecraft, Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, Valorant, Apex Legends, NTE, or even 7 Deadly Sins Origin. Not only that, but they are also super trusted sellers with tons of great reviews and an excellent rating on Trustpilot. They also have a money-back guarantee in case you get scammed or don't get your order, as well as a 24/7 live support who will always be available to help you out with any questions or issues that might arise. They will act as your middleman, making sure your transaction is secure, as well as your product, making it very convenient for you as a customer. They also have a lot of diverse payment methods, ranging from MasterCard, Visa, Google Pay, Apple Pay, or even crypto, which means it's very consumer-friendly. You can get 5% off on any purchase if you use my Eldorado link in the description, as well as my code AKIRAZ. Afterwards, I am still using Jericho as a burster, Clotho as a buffer, and Mannie as a buffer sub DPS. Clotho got buffed today as well, so this means Merlin is stronger, but regardless, the rotation is the same. This is what Merlin's stats look like. She is on her signature, which is by now with 4 stars limit break. I am investing every single shard that I have on Merlin, and the other 2 weapons are normal. Then this is what I'm running her with right now. I'm using her cold engraving. I'm using Gallant Stop. It's the best top you can use. Then this belt is a mandatory belt because look at the upgrade on the stack skill damage that you have. Plus it's level 2 ability, so it increases even more. So this belt is mandatory. The rest you can kind of move around, but this belt is mandatory. I'm using 2 pieces of life crystal to get the plus 100 pierce to reduce blocks, and I'm using a 3-piece corrupted watchers on the accessories. This ring also has elemental attack. It could have been cold attack or crit damage. It's probably better, but this is enough as well. This set will give you all damage and increase your attack points. Obviously with the raid you can try using this set. I'm still missing the belt, so I don't know if the 7-piece is good, but it can be good using 5 pieces like bottoms, boots, and then the 3 accessories, and you leave this belt and Gallant Stop. It might actually be very good on Merlin, and I can even run some tests afterwards, because as you can see, the 5-piece on this set will give you crit chance, crit damage, and it will increase your crit chance even further when you use the tech skill, and it will increase it even further if you use the tech skill once again, and it will also increase your defense shatter by 7% for 20 seconds. So honestly, this might be worth it. Bottoms, boots, and the 3-piece accessories, and then you leave Gallant Stop and Bloody Scale Belt. But I think it will also depend on the sub attributes you get on the rings, for example, and on the accessories in general, because you can see my Greedy Ruler ring might be super good because I have 592 cold attack on him max. It was amazing, so this actually might be super worth it to use. So yeah, if you do that, it would look something like this, as you can see. For the purpose of this video, I will not be using this set because I know that it's something that not a lot of people have access to, since raid is quite difficult right now, and I will just go use my other set that everyone has access to by now, which is the Life Crystal and the Corrupted Watcher. If you have the Greedy Ruler set, I think this is the best option for Merlin cold version. But regardless, as I've said, for the purpose of the video, we'll be running like this. She is P6, as I've mentioned on my raid video. I purchased the dupes from the store. Then we have Jericho acting as a burster. Her stats look like this, and honestly she only needs burst efficiency to be good on this comp. I have her on these swords because it will decrease the crit resistance of the enemies as well. She's with her bursting engraving, she's on a 4-piece Immortal Watcher and on a 3-piece Twisted Thought to get elemental burst efficiency, and she is P5. Then we have Clotho. Her stats look like this, and she will basically be one of our buffers. And I mean, you can see from the buff duration efficiency, she really is meant to be the buffer. She's on the Blazing Grimoire, but you can use 100 ways to win at love, which was the event Grimoire, since it increases the healing received and reduces the damage taken, which is very compatible with Clotho. And since she's here basically to buff and heal you at the same time, this might be the best option. I'm just using this one because I like the extra damage, and it's limit broken 6. The other weapons are signature and the staff, normal, like nothing amazing. She's on her Cold Engraving, and she's on a 4-piece Life Crystal with a 3-piece 100 day from the event because of the healing efficiency. If you don't have those, you can run a 7-piece Life Crystal top since it gives 20% healing efficiency as well, or you can even use the magic charging earrings if you are using the other Grimoire, because then healing efficiency will already be increased by the Grimoire. She's currently P4. Then Mannie will be your sub DPS kinda, and their stats look like this. She also debuffs, so it's good to have debuff duration efficiency since she also debuffs with her skills. Her weapons are really normal. She is on the dual swords for this. She is on her basic dual sword slash cold engraving. 4-piece Immortal Watcher, 3-piece Arachne, and this is not ideal at all. You want her to have the magic charging set, preferably, and you can put her on 4-piece Life Crystal as well to increase your HP by 20 more %. This set is not really doing much for her right now, so I'd recommend 4-piece Life Crystal and 3-piece Amen of Regeneration. Unfortunately, I'm missing one Sunstone, so I cannot craft the Amen of Regeneration yet, but as you can see, this set is very good because it will increase your magic charging efficiency and your HP, so I recommend you using this set. And she is P5. Now let's move on to why most people don't do damage. The thing with Merlin is you need to stack her frost marks, and the frost mark is this thing right here that appears when you do your basic attack string or when you use your normal skill. And you have to know 2 things about the frost mark. I mean, 3 probably. It increases your damage overall. The first stack can be applied by every single character in your roster as long as you have Merlin in the team, and your normal skill will apply all stacks from 1 to 4, but your special skill will only apply stacks from 2 to 4. And this is very important for the rotations, because what a lot of people do is they start the rotation with their normal skill, and then they do this. And by now, like, it's more than 4 stacks already. You had like 10 stacks or more than 4 from first mark. And the maximum is 4, as you can see here. So you're wasting your stacks, and consequently, you will be wasting your damage because you cannot tech skill out a lot and in, because you will not have stacks. I fully charged my orbs just to show you better. But the way I start the rotation is, I start with my Clotho, right? And I give the first hit, then I E, then I ult, then I give Q, I go to Jericho, dodge the attack so you don't lose the stacks, burst him, go to Mannie, debuff him, use ult to debuff even further. He has frost mark applied, so I use my basic ability. Then when reaching the end, I will activate my normal skill, ult, tag out, set 4 stacks again, tag in, and as you can see, 1.6 million damage or something, I think. I can check in the replay better, but I think that was 1.6 million with 1 tag skill. And that's what you want to do, because like this, you will be able to tag in and out a lot. And then when you go to Merlin, you want to apply the mark again and repeat the rotation, since you will be able to. Then normal skill, ult, tag out, tag in again, and just repeat it, because now he has frost mark applied again. So normal skill, I don't have I didn't mean normal skill, I meant special skill. I don't have my normal skill, so I will just ult. I will normal skill now. And he lost the stacks right there, because I was too slow. So that can happen. And that's basically the rotation for Cold Merlin. To maximize her, you really want to make sure that you are making use of these frost stacks. And not only do they increase your tag skill damage, if you noticed, with no frost tag mark, look at how much I'm doing. 10k, 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 whatever, 8k, okay? If I apply frost mark on him, 15k, 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 so a lot of people ask me why they were not doing as much damage even though they had better stats or something, and it's because of this. You are not properly using frost mark. Frost mark not only gives you an increase to your tag skill damage, it also gives you an increase to your damage overall with Merlin, because it increases cold attack. So I apply, and as time goes, my damage will go up because he's getting stacks, and then I wanna swap my character. You also want to make sure you're using your normal skill when you're swapping to get 3 tag in and tag outs with 4 frost marks, which will basically maximize your damage. Also, don't let your buffs run out, so if your buffs are running out, just stop the rotation, go back and restart your rotation from the buffers. So you don't always need to do what I was doing of going just Mannie and Merlin back and forth. You can do this. So ultimate, normal skill, Mannie, back to Clotho, ultimate, special skill for buffs, go to Merlin, 1.4 million there, and then I restart the rotation from Merlin again, because I needed to refresh my Clotho buff. And this works with basically every Merlin composition. It doesn't matter if you're using Daisy, Tiore, Gila, whoever you're using, this is what you have to have in account. You have to take into account her passive of the frost marks, because this is what makes Merlin do the insane amount of damage that you see some YouTubers do, or you see on the trailer from Merlin, for example, on the live stream from 1.5. Frost mark is basically everything about Merlin. The rest is kind of simple, but frost mark is what you need to understand. You need to understand how to apply, what can apply, and their buffs. For example, ultimate increases crit damage by 50% for 15 seconds. That's why you want to ult when you're gonna tag the skills, etc. So then you don't lose the timing to tag skill. You can even ult at the start of the rotation, so it's then when you normal skill on the ground, you already have the ult buff from previously, and you just tag, and basically just deal the damage, okay? And then you might think, but normal skill is so short, like how many stacks does it give? The normal skill, even though it's short duration, it gives 10 stacks of frost mark. This means that you can basically get 2 full rotations, or even 3 if you are really like perfect timing, perfect frames, with one single skill from Merlin. If you do the rotation, like you start with the supports, whatever, blah, 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 and then you apply frost mark, you get the full stacks with your Q, and you already ulted before, like you ult at the start, and then right before swapping, you normal skill, you swap, the stacks will be applied, you swap again, the stacks will be applied, and you swap again to your support. It's perfect, and if you do this pixel perfect, or not pixel perfect, but if you do it perfectly, like on frame perfect, you will get 3 rotations with Merlin on one single rotation, basically. Like it's 3 in 1. Obviously, during fight scenarios against the bosses from Tarani's raid, it's harder because they are kind of annoying and they can stun you a lot, or they can basically one-shot you if you're playing co-op, but that's something that you need to learn along the way. You will not always have perfect rotations. You also need to know how to improvise, and you lost the rotation midway through, okay, you need to learn how to stop and how to start it again, and that's something that you get by feeling, you get by playing the game. But this is the basic rotations, basic guide, and all the equipments, engravings, etc. that you want to use for Cold Merlin. If this guide has helped you clear the raid or any content in the game at all, for example time space junctions 2 and 4, I made a video recently with this team clearing them because it's super broken, then don't forget to please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.